All right, well, welcome to the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for wrestling fans. It's free to sign up, free to use, free to talk to people. And after an overwhelming amount of users tried to access the site in the lead up to WrestleMania, the site crashed, but guess what? It was up before WrestleMania. That was our goal. It's back up, back running, and again, free to sign up. So go ahead and sign up for TagMeADate.com as you are listening to tonight's War Report, the post-WrestleMania, the post-Raw after WrestleMania, and the pre-Smackdown after WrestleMania show. We'll go over as much as we can. Also, Andre the Giant documentary, 10 p.m. tonight on HBO. So lots of wrestling going on. Lots of wrestling has happened this weekend, and then lots of wrestling coming up. So let's get right to it. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's been a lot of wrestling. We sure as hell got a lot to talk about. But I think to open, obviously, we're paying a little homage to Paige. The speculation's been going around for quite a while. I'm glad to see they kind of waited until after WrestleMania, give her that last chance to walk that Mania aisle. It's a real damn shame. She's so young. Only 4 years, really, in the WWE, even though she's been doing this forever.
Yeah, since she was 13.
Yeah, and it's just a damn shame. And I really, one thing that I found hopeful in her farewell speech which was great, was when she said Daniel Bryan's given her hope. And this may not be the end. Maybe she can do what Daniel Bryan was able to do, and maybe she will be able to return. If not, we wish her all the best, obviously, in her future endeavors. And my only thing is it did make it seem like this is it, like she's going to move on and find something else to do and actually leave the company when
it did appear that way.
Well, right. And a lot of the cases like this, I feel like WWE usually extends an invitation to like a Legends contract or something. Correct. And or even a full-time contract, but a non-wrestling, whether it be a GM position, or why not stay and manage Absolution, because quite frankly, I'm a little worried about those two. I think Paige was the only reason anyone gave a shit. I don't think they're strong enough yet on their own. And I think they're going to have a really tough time staying somewhat relevant. Maybe the shakeup will be a good opportunity to split them, try them single. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things you can try, but either way, I was expecting maybe them to have her be involved somehow. But it doesn't appear that that's going to be. And in fact, I did read something tonight. Now, I read it. I don't know if it's true, and I don't forget who the source is. But the article said something to the effect that she has no more scheduled appearances with the company.
Wow.
So in my eyes, this was officially the end of Paige. So
it's amazing to think, like you said, she only had 4 years on the main roster. I know she wrestled in the UK for a long time. She wrestled in NXT for a little while. So she had there's a lot of footage out there of her on the indies, etc. So she leaves a legacy, but it's amazing to think the wear and tear, especially if she did start that young, the wear and tear she put on her body from a young age and for an extended period of time. It finally caught up with her. And maybe it's not the end of the road, and maybe there's a new treatment or a new rehab and physical therapy and years of building it back up. Who knows? We don't know. Stem cells, all this other crazy medical technology we have now. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. She's still young, even if. And I know most of the women on the roster don't stick around terribly long, but if she gets well enough to be like even 35 or 36 up to almost being 40, I'm sure if she's in the shape to do it, she would still do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all she's ever wanted to do.
Yeah, and now she has the Soraya store, which that's a little spot. They carved out a spot of the Pro Wrestling Tees store in Chicago, and she's got her own boutique there, and she sells clothes for like goth people. It's all black. All the clothes are black. Not surprising.
I'm not into goth and all that shit, but some of the stuff, like I see videos and little premieres and things like that. Some of the
Noelle
shit is actually pretty cool. Yeah, Noelle Foley was promoting that shit, and not for nothing, some of the stuff does look pretty cool. So at least she has something else, to at least make an income for now. And Listen, she can still do appearances and still make a shit ton of money on the indies just doing appearances. Well, yeah, they said she's going to be a prime. She's going to be one of the main people focused on this coming season. It's already filmed. Obviously, she won't be there going forward, but it will also be to promote her bio movie as well. That'll be a big focus.
Hi, I'm WWE superstar Paige. I'm sorry, I won't do the whole commercial for you. I know.
10 times.
See, I was at the arena. I had no idea it played that often. We saw it once. We saw that one time they cut to it like 4 hours into the show was the only time we saw it.
Vince, it was like 15 times on TV.
I pretty much know The Rock's promo.
Yeah.
Something extras out of Harry Potter. Yeah. It was not that it wasn't bad. I could see that would get very grating after, 5, 6.
It was good promo, but 15 times in between 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You shoot me.
So we had Paige retire, but we'll back up a little bit because I'm still exhausted. I got in at 2 o'clock in the morning and somebody shit themselves on the plane. I'm convinced of it because the plane smelled like shit for 2 hours.
Oh, that's horrible.
Could you please, everybody, this is a public service announcement. Pay it forward here. Shower and wipe your ass and wash your ass before you get on a fucking public transportation, you piece of crap.
Amen. Preach.
God. I was at Pat O'Brien's on Bourbon Street. The dude in front of me was wearing a wrestling t-shirt and he stunk. And I'm like, oh, man, those are the type of people that give wrestling fans bad names. It's like, oh, this big sweaty nerd. It's like, all you got to do is shower. It's real simple. Wash your ass. Just wash your ass. That's it.
Seriously.
Wash everything. Don't
Yes,
stop
I know, but the ass is an important part. The ass, the feet.
That should be a main focus.
It's just, it was like, dude, this is when people talk about wrestling fans being like sweaty nerds and shit. That's like the stereotype. Don't be the stereotype, man. Anyway, it was aside from the shit smell the last day there, it was great. It was a wonderful trip. WrestleMania is way too fucking long. I got there. I walked across. It took about 20 minutes. So after the podcast on Sunday, I took like a 20-minute nap or a half an hour nap, woke up and walked about 20 minutes, not even, maybe 15 minutes down the street to the Superdome. And it was amazing because a lot of people had hotels in the area. It's a big downtown area. This particular, where the Superdome is in New Orleans is basically downtown. So all of the hotels are within a half a mile or a mile. Most of the people walked. So you had 70,000 people walking through the streets to and from. So at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was when we got out, they were doing Adam Cole Bebe and Too Sweet Whoop Whoop and everything down the street.
That's awesome.
As cars are trying to drive down the street, but it ain't happening. So it's a great experience, but seriously, it's just way too long. 14 matches over 7 hours or whatever is way too long.
Yeah, I mean, that was my biggest complaint. I actually thought, I have a lot of thoughts about Mania. I thought, but the main issue I had with it was the length. I mean, if it's going to continue to go to almost 1 o'clock in the morning, then they got to start considering do it on a Saturday or do it in 2 parts, or you got to figure something out. But it's way too fucking long. I mean, and then if you add it all up between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I mean, holy shit. And then NXT Wednesday.
Right.
So, it's just it's overload.
Well, here's what if you compare now, the night before was NXT, and we talked about that show and how good it was. But the reason those NXT takeovers are so good is that they pick 5 matches or 6 matches, and it's a 2-hour-long show. And they say, what are the best feuds that we have on TV right now? What are the ones that need resolution? We're building those towards this takeover. And then when that's done, the next ones go to the next takeover. So it's just a different type of show because it's only 2 hours. It's the structure of the show. Even if they wanted to keep WrestleMania to 3 or 4 hours, pick 9 matches. 7 to 9 matches is the sweet spot. Coming from somebody who's attended a lot of wrestling shows over the course of 31 years, 7 to 9 matches is the sweet spot. Any more than that, you lose the audience. Any less than that, they feel like they're cheated. 7 is pretty much 7 or 8. 7 to 9 is it's the sweet spot. It's leave them wanting more.
Right.
Oh man, that match should have happened. Maybe it'll happen on Raw. Maybe it'll happen on SmackDown. Like the Usos match. That good. I give them a lot of credit. That 3-way tag team match. They went out there and they worked their asses off, but nobody gave a shit. Nobody. The worst part
But
was
I also think that's because that was like the one match that wasn't
it
really
wasn't
talked
hyped
about.
very well.
It wasn't hyped at
No, it
all.
wasn't.
But the other thing was, I think that was right after the Ronda match, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
killed it. First, Ronda Rousey killed it, and the audience. That was some of the biggest pops of the night were for Ronda Rousey getting the tag and then getting the armbar tap out on Steph, and she wrestled her ass off. She shocked everybody, and after that match, the crowd never recovered because it was it was the biggest WrestleMania moment, I think, of the night, that she came in for her first match and wrestled as well as somebody who's been doing it her whole life.
Let me say something about Ronda. And as we all know, because we talked about this a ton leading up to WrestleMania, and my biggest fear was, Ronda just not blowing away the expectations, and Triple H and Stephanie, their main job being to make her look as good as possible. And the truth of the matter is, she didn't need Triple H and Stephanie to make her look good. She looked phenomenal. And nobody out there can say anything else other than she blew away the expectations. She not only blew it away, she was Mania. That was the moment and the match of the night. It was bigger to me than Shinsuke AJ, which is a match that I've been waiting to see for a very long time at a WrestleMania. And that match stole the show. It was fantastic, and I am proud of her. I'm so excited to see what else she brings to the table. This is just, it shows you her dedication, because she's been working her ass off, and she pulled it off.
It showed. It absolutely showed that she'd been working her ass off.
I mean, everything, the emotion, the facial expressions, the quickness, it's just everything.
She was taking the bump. She took the ring post spot and all that other stuff that you wouldn't usually ask a quote unquote celebrity performer to do. Especially, like imagine Floyd didn't even do that. Floyd had the best celebrity match at WrestleMania until this one. And this one you can't even count as a celebrity because according to her, she's here full time. This is her job now. So I hope so, because here's what I heard. First of all, the only other match that came close for match of the night was Asuka Charlotte, which was awesome.
It was a great match.
The tap came out of nowhere because it was the first time she put the figure 8 on her the entire match. If I'm recalling correctly, she never had it locked on, except for then, and then got the tap on one. So everybody in the crowd, we were all kind of expecting Asuka to fight out of it and go a couple, even if she lost, expect to go a couple more minutes. But it was a really good match, and excuse me, based on what happened in that match, and then based on what happened with the Ronda match and how well she did, I'm reading reports that next year's main event
is going to be women.
Is Charlotte Ronda. Main event, the first time ever the women would main event a WrestleMania, and it would be Charlotte Ronda. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow, that would be amazing, and I'm totally sold. I mean, I think that would be
another
great.
year.
Oh, forget it. She's going to be unstoppable. I want to. You brought up Charlotte too, and look, first of all, let's talk about Charlotte's entrance. Her entrance was amazing. I mean, there were a lot of spectacular entrances. But that match was great. I am shocked by the finish. Everybody
in the building was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't see her tapping so quickly, and I didn't see Asuka losing her streak at WrestleMania. I mean, both your Royal Rumble winners lost.
Yeah, I mean, it was a night of swerves. It was Russo-mania. Russo had the book last night.
Oh my God, Jinder Mahal won.
Here's my biggest thing. Like, I think WrestleMania overall was great.
It was a really good show.
Matches were great, and all the finishes were what the fuck is going on kind of situation. Yeah. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Everything you thought was going to happen didn't. Shinsuke, I can't believe lost.
I can't believe that.
But I'll tell you what, I am excited for a Shinsuke heel turn. I think it's going to be awesome.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
The hype behind him. First of all, he wrestles like a motherfucker. But he got to that point where it was just he was the happy-go-lucky Asian guy, and that's not why you hire somebody like that. You hire him so he goes out there and fucking kicks somebody's ass because he was a legit MMA fighter at one point. This guy has, aside from the flash and the dancing and the music and the entrance, he's legit. And this, the heel turn was, first of all, was fantastically done because it mirrored Charlotte and Asuka's match so well. The respect at the end of the match and everybody clapped and it was a good moment, and then bang. And when it happened, it was shock. People cheered. Some people cheered. A lot of people booed. And I think it wasn't necessarily cheering because Shinsuke turned heel. It was cheering because they knew it wasn't the end.
Yeah.
Shinsuke's getting another shot. The guy who should have really won that match is going to come back. But this time he's going to have a reason to be pissed off. He lost at WrestleMania. He earned his spot from the Royal Rumble, all this shit. Now he has to win it at Backlash. You know what I mean? He's going to be that guy. He's just going to be like a angry, and I wish they would do 1/10 of that with fucking Roman Reigns and have him show a little bit of that range of, I went out there and bled for you fucking people and you booed me kind of deal. Like, where is that? Where is that edge?
Like Edge when he got booed in Toronto when he returned.
Do you know how hard it is to get people to boo a Canadian in Canada? That's not easy. So yeah, I agree, but I don't know. I feel like this was just a pit stop, and I'm okay with it because for Roman Reigns, I don't care if he wins it in Saudi Arabia. He didn't win it while I was there in New Orleans. I got to see, and honestly, let me be fair here. Everybody was really apathetic towards that match in the arena. A lot of people, there were cheers for Roman Reigns, but I would say it was majority boos. People didn't know how to react to Brock. I want to say it was probably 60-40 cheering, but a lot of people booed because of a couple things. The circumstance of the match, and also because of the rumor that he was going back to the UFC and not re-signing. So the finish was basically, written in big red letters on the wall. So everybody was going into it like it was WrestleMania 20, Brock and Goldberg. That's the exact same vibe I got. It was just the crowd wasn't necessarily booing the performance of the wrestling moves. They were booing the idea that the one guy's leaving and the other guy isn't the guy we want as the top dog, so to speak, in the in the matches. So it was an awkward match, especially. All right, tell me if it was as ridiculous on TV as it was in the arena. He kicked out of how many fucking F5s?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe got hit with one F5 and lost. Braun Strowman got hit with one F5 and lost. The Big Show got hit with one F5 and lost. The big dog, Roman fucking Reigns, got hit with 6, and one of them was through a table, and he still kicked out.
Well,
with a full face of blood.
So we should talk more about this because there was also apparently a confrontation between Brock and Vince and Shane McMahon backstage. I think it's all work too, although what reports are saying is the reason why Vince was pissed is that they feel that Brock went into business for himself. At number one, he gave him a hard elbow to the forehead, which is what busted him open. And the table spot was also not written in, and the announcers at the table did not have advance notice to get out of the way. And apparently Vince was real pissed. So now, I don't know. It could be a work, could be not.
I also heard Brock was the one who was upset.
Yeah, Brock was upset. I think he realized as he got out there how badly they fucked this thing up. I don't think he knows. I don't think he watches Raw if he's not on the show.
Well, and I also heard that apparently the Roman was actually supposed to go over, and it got halfway through the match, and because of the crowd, Vince called an audible and told the ref to tell Brock to win the match. So I don't know.
I'm hearing different reports that it was decided earlier in the week, but they didn't tell the referee until the middle of the match. I don't think it was a firm decision. This is one of those game time decisions either way, whether it happened 2 days ago or 2 or 3 days before, or whether it happened that night. They realized, they realized they had to change course. And I think if they're going that way of having 100,000 Saudis cheer on Roman Reigns as he wins, whatever, more power to him. I did not have to pay all that money to go 900 miles to watch him beat Brock Lesnar. So I'm very thankful
Get
for
booed
that.
out of the arena.
Oh, he tried that stupid super spear again. Because if you hit the ropes more than once, it charges it up.
Apparently,
What fucking sense does that make? And then he got hit with that knee. That was the first time I've seen Brock hit that knee clean like that.
That was a good knee.
Killed him. That was awesome. It wasn't.
I thought that was the end of the match.
Oh yeah, me too. I thought that knee, pick him up, F5. The whole thing was ridiculous that he kept kicking out of those F5s. That's I disagree with
about
that.
the spear. I thought he was going to hit it. That was it.
Oh yeah. Everybody thought. Listen, in the building, everything he did got a groan because it was basically like, okay, just we know what's happening. Pin Brock so we can all just go home. We just want to go home at this point. Just end the match. And when it actually ended that way, the right way, in my opinion, excuse me, everybody's opinion changed. It was, except for the poor people in Roman Reigns t-shirts, they were having a bad day.
It was just not their night.
There was a guy in the airport on Monday afternoon in a Roman Reigns t-shirt, and he looked like he was still having a bad day. I can't imagine being.
He was wearing a Roman Reigns shirt. It's always a bad day.
I know, but I feel especially bad considering what happened the night before. I'll have to go back and watch it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch Ronda's match.
How about Ronda's entrance, man?
Oh,
I appreciate the
Piper.
I wish there would have been like a bagpipe intro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like to the song.
Standing in the smoke.
Yeah, they could add some bad bagpipes to that.
And then cut to her music.
Yeah, start playing a little bit of Scotland the Brave and go right into Bad Reputation. There was a bagpiper playing out in Jefferson Square Park, and I almost went over and paid him to play Scotland the Brave, but he was doing his own thing.
So we got Undertaker back.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean?
And then he squashed John Cena. I'm very confused in this whole thing, and I was expecting a confrontation on Raw.
I just don't understand the whole thing, dude. They had a match. They didn't promote a match. They never booked a match, and yet the match happened. Like, how do you sell? I don't understand how they sold the idea of WrestleMania, Cena versus Taker, without ever making the match. That's really unique. Very unique. I know you
felt they needed to sell Undertaker though.
It's like, he'll be there. You know what I mean? It's one of those. He's gonna be there.
It almost wasn't even worth doing, honestly.
It was interesting because it did a couple of things. They put, first of all, the bad lightning effect was on television only, and it was on the funny thing was it was on all the Titantrons, but it didn't happen in the ring. There was just an explosion. There was fire and smoke in the ring, but no lightning. But if you looked up on the Titantron as it was happening, you saw lightning.
Terrible.
It was pretty funny though, because you guys are telling me. Also, I guess Miz had some stuff and Asuka had some stuff in their.
Yeah, they had augmented reality.
I'll have to go back and see that. Because when you said floating masks, I'm like, you guys stoned? What happened?
We all decided to get collectively stoned. To
exactly. Yeah, and you all saw the same thing. I was like, oh, it's interesting. But
hell of a drug.
Seriously. Water, pure water, mixed with a little LSD.
It's a special ingredient.
Yes. So, all right, I got to say this. Cedric Alexander, my buddy, I've seen him wrestle in front of 300 people, and I saw him wrestle in front of 75,000, 78,000, whatever the fuck it was, at WrestleMania, and he won the Cruiserweight Championship. I can't believe it. I really honestly thought, I wanted him to win. I was pulling for the whole time, and I'm like, Mustafa Ali, they're going to pull the trigger on this guy. He's such a, like a pure baby face. I mean, but so is Cedric. So, I was blown away. I was very, very happy that he won.
Yeah, I was too.
And that was a hell of a match too. Mustafa took this giant front face bump off the fucking top turnbuckle and landed on the floor. Holy shit. The show was really good. If you cut out the middle parts, the waiting parts where we had to sit around and wait for Michael Cole to plug some bullshit or whatever else, if you condense that down to a 4-hour show, it's awesome. It really is probably one of the best WrestleManias of all time. It's up there.
I think it was a better wrestled show than the Takeover, but the 7 hours hurt it.
Right. I mean, you could, if you took 5 matches, from WrestleMania, and you just made a five match thing to compare to NXT, they would probably be equal because there were some, and WrestleMania would probably get the edge because it is WrestleMania. But you take the 5 best matches, which were probably cruiserweights, IC title, Asuka Charlotte, Ronda's match, and I don't know
which heavyweight.
Well, I'd say AJ Nakamura. You'd put that against Takeover, and that's a solid 2-hour show as well, 2.5-hour show. So speaking of going back to the IC title match, we're kind of bouncing around here, but the IC title match, I was fairly disappointed to not see the Demon come out.
I was too.
We all kind of said the same thing in the chat privately too. It's kind of like you don't see it often. You expected it at Mania, just like you expected Pyro. You expected Finn to come out as Demon. So that was shocking to me.
It was all right entrance. It just was kind of
it was. But here's the thing: there were too many times. It seemed like the entrances this year were just, we're gonna put somebody in your fucking t-shirt and have them clap for you or play a violin. Like there was no costume design. They just put t-shirts on. Like even the Nakamura violin players wear a shirt and tie, wear a suit. I don't know. Like wear a red leather fucking costume like he did. I don't know, man.
Something.
But that was cool as fuck. There were some people had issues with the guitar solo, and maybe it wasn't the best played guitar solo. It was a little sloppy, but
it was
cool.
That was a moment. I will remember that just as I remembered last time in Louisiana in New Orleans when Bray Wyatt came to the ring and the band played his song, and they had the dancers and the fire, and the full band was in the masks, and the whole thing was just. And then he got jobbed out to John Cena, but he made a hell of an entrance. That killed his career, by the way. That was what killed Bray Wyatt, was losing to John Cena at WrestleMania 30. John Cena didn't need to win that match. Bray Wyatt really did.
Yeah. And now what they're doing now with him and Matt Hardy is going to be gold.
Wonderful.
It's going to be gold.
That was the best. Once it was down to Matt and the two big guys, Mojo and Corbin, and I had just had a feeling
somewhat called
shit was going to happen.
Considering
you did. You said
exactly because Bray wasn't in the match,
right?
So, but other than that, I called that going down. So I was glad to see that. I think them together is just going to be absolute gold.
Their interaction with Jeff last night was hysterical.
It's allowing Bray Wyatt to exercise a different muscle in his brain. Like it's a different kind of character than he's been playing. He can broaden his chops here by playing this new character. So I appreciate it. You know what I don't appreciate? No Way Jose still uses that stupid fastball punch. Why is that a finisher? How is that a finisher in anywhere?
I don't know, but how
the Big Show?
So we got the Authors of Pain, No Way Jose, Ember Moon,
Return of Samoa Joe,
and Bobby Lashley.
Oh, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
So I mean that was a great amount of call-ups, but since
Bobby
we're
Lashley with the headband of power,
right? Since we're transitioning a little bit over to Raw, what's up with AOP leaving behind Paul Ellering? And now what do you do with Paul Ellering? Because he was great.
Maybe he wants to stay in Florida. He doesn't want to travel. I mean, he's an older gentleman. Maybe he's just retired. He wants to work down south. Because if they keep him in NXT, he can build up another team. He could.
Oh, that's true.
He put War Machine with him.
Oh yes.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be good.
The War Raiders is their new name.
God damn it!
I don't hate it, but I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
I'm never a fan of a name that has the consonant at the end of the word and then the consonant at the beginning of the next word. It should be War Raiders is two. War Raiders. It almost blends together as one word. That's why War Machine worked. And I know they couldn't because there's War Machine, the MMA fighter who beat up Christy Mack and almost killed her, and now he's in jail. So a little bit of bad press there, but there's other things they could have done. The War Beards, just call them the War Beards, the War Vikings. I don't know, but they're going to come out and they're going to have
the Vikings of War.
The Vikings of War. There you go. I would be okay with that.
The war reporters.
And they come out with little hats on with press passes tucked into them. Old school.
I actually think that they are debuting on NXT this Wednesday.
That's fantastic. Dude, speaking of tag teams, or rather factions, I should say, based on everything that has happened recently, it sounds like British Strong Style, the faction, is going to be forming in NXT with Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, and Pete Dunne all getting together as to continue their gimmick from the Indies.
Cool.
That'd be cool.
And they're going to face the Undisputed Era.
Ooh,
So that's the next. That's going to be the next big feud. Is those three guys against the Undisputed Era?
Another War Games, though?
That would be wonderful. So you know what people have been suggesting? That Neville should come back for British Strong Style and be the fourth guy in the War Games.
Or Wolfgang.
Is he at all interested?
Neville, who knows? We haven't heard hide nor hair, and you'd think he'd do an interview somewhere or something. He's just laying low.
Can't burn a bridge if you're not doing an interview.
Yeah, that's true. Because you could say something accidentally and piss somebody off.
That's true.
But I hope he comes. I hope he makes an appearance somewhere. So over the weekend we talked about Alberto no-showing that Impact show.
Yeah.
And then the Impact Lucha Underground, and then getting released and all that. I hate to be Bruce Pritchard here, something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, but it might be a work. I have just the sinking feeling that Don Callis and Scott D'Amore over at the New Impact Wrestling are doing some deep meta shit here. They purposely had Alberto no-show. This sounds paranoid. I know. It absolutely sounds paranoid, and I'm probably wrong. But if I'm right, it's a big bet. What if it's a work? They told him just no-show this match. Because then they had a little segment on the next recap or the next preview video for Impact of Austin Aries talking about Alberto no-showing. And why would you talk about somebody no-showing if they're fired? You know what I mean? It's like...
Good point.
So I don't know. I feel like if it would be deep. This would be the deepest TNA has ever gone, to actually like go out and fire somebody and like they have them no-show a show, already having a bad reputation, playing into their real life, shenanigans. It would be wonderful, but I guess at the end of the day, it probably just boils down to Alberto being Alberto.
Yeah.
But that's my theory, and I'm if it happens, I'll let you know, because I called it. You saw it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram last night. 14 weeks ago, December 31st, I said Conor McGregor, if he comes back to the UFC at all, wouldn't fight Khabib. He's going to fight Floyd Mayweather in a modified mixed martial arts rules match to try and get his win back. And then they said that's what's going to happen. I saw it on Unilad. I saw it on some other pages. I'm a psychic. So I think this Alberto thing, I'm trying to make another prediction here. We'll see what happens. But anything else from the you mentioned Amanda mentioned Jinder winning, so I guess that's all we need to know about that match.
Braun and Nicholas.
Oh, Braun and Nicholas for Hall of Fame. Yes.
A lot of people are shitting all over that, but I thought it was.
I thought
hilarious.
That was funny. That was really
That was
funny.
hilarious, but then why did they
mixed.
give the title?
I have mixed feelings. Yeah, if it was a regular match, I would have been like, okay, fine. But it was a title.
Yeah.
I'm a little,
Yeah,
and
but
then
then
they gave up the titles.
I was going to say they gave him up, and Sheamus and Cesaro are going to get another shot at him in Saudi Arabia. So I mean, the hell.
Luckily, I think Bray and Matt are going to walk away with them.
Yes, the expedition of gold. Wonderful.
I'm so excited.
When I heard that they were going on an expedition of gold, I was like, oh shit, it's back. They're slowly just reintroducing stuff. Oh, and they had Maxwell taking pictures with Nicholas. So
Yeah.
you might have that. There we go. 10 years in the making, 12, 15 years in the making, whatever it is. They're going to wrestle in the future. That would be some great continuity. Because that was John Cone's son.
Right, the referee.
Yeah.
Yes, not the Yankee. That's David Cone. I'm sorry.
It's just too bad it wasn't like a Make-A-Wish kid or something.
Oh, come on. That would
That's
be
horrible.
Eric, you're morbid. You want some little chemoed out kid with no eyebrows and no hair standing there shivering in the corner? Oh God, with his little brittle bones waiting
to
for
have
the
a
tag.
moment like that.
Oh man. You'll have little kid croak on screen. Jesus.
It's awful.
I know. They couldn't even. This kid probably couldn't even pick up the title. It would weigh too much. That'd be so sad. It would just be dragging on the ground.
What I mean by that more
I know. It's a radio show, Eric. I'm trying to make some comedy.
Raw was great though, as usual.
That was a good Raw. Damn good Raw.
Samoa Joe now and Roman Reigns again. How do we feel about this rekindling?
If all it does is serve as a stopgap between Roman facing Brock again, I have no interest in seeing it because Samoa Joe deserves better.
Well, it is because
I know it is. It's frustrating.
I really do not want to see Joe lose to Roman again.
Again, I know it's like fill me in, Ryan. You're the Simpsons guy here. Poochie? What's the name of
Poochie? Yeah, Poochie the dog.
Right, and even when Poochie wasn't on screen, you had to be talking about Poochie. This is how we're getting with Roman Reigns, and one day he just has to go back to his home planet. That's pretty much
with a text, little
just the little text scrolling. One day the Raw just ends. Roman Reigns has gone back to SmackDown, and that's just never mention him again.
On the way to SmackDown, he died.
What if they end up adding Joe to the match in Saudi Arabia, make it a triple threat?
A triple threat cage match? Oh my god,
that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Oh, I forgot it was a cage match, but yeah, that would be cool.
Be different.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be Brock Reigns 3.
I'll say this: if either Roman better freaking win already,
or we just got to stop with the match,
or just stop, because I do not want this at next year's WrestleMania. Damn it!
I know.
I would shoot myself.
We already had to wait a year for this bullshit. We don't want to wait another year.
Speaking of not waiting another year, I wanted to put this out there live so we have a record of me saying it, and then we can refer back to it. We have a year. We need to try and get a table at WrestleCon and put somebody to sign autographs there. I'm just putting that out there. We got a year. We got a year to plan it, so we're gonna work it out. And it's in New York.
Come on it. We'll get
Excellent. All right, good. So you heard it here first. Tag me dates at WrestleCon. 1 year. Mark it down. Put it in your iPhone or whatever. It'll pop up. Yes. So I think you're right. My thought was, before I realized that the Saudi Arabia thing was coming up and they were doing a title match, or before they announced it, I thought maybe they had just given up on this Roman Reigns experiment, at least for a little while. Maybe cycle some people back in, let him spend some time down in the mid card, whatever, and work his way back up. But it seems like we're getting another reign of terror. Like we had the Triple H reign of terror, and then we had the John Cena reign of terror that killed everybody's fucking career. That wasn't John Cena. And now we're going to have the Roman Reigns reign of terror, and he's already fucked up Joe's WWE career so far. And we'll see who else he buries on his way to
everybody.
30
I thought it was funny, though, how he goes, and I had to hear about this match on the internet.
Everybody had to hear about this match on the internet, dude, and that's what happens.
Shut up, Reigns. No one likes you.
Someone from Bleacher Report is reporting that Brock only signed on for one more match and two total appearances, but I think that's not true. I think he's got to be signed for more than one match.
SummerSlam, I think.
He's got to be at least through SummerSlam, and if not longer now, because it seems like they're more receptive to doing different kinds of structures of contracts now, because the rumor is Brock Lesnar has a clause in his contract where he is allowed to fight for the UFC. And Bobby Lashley is still under contract with Bellator.
Really?
I heard that might have stopped.
You heard my okay. If it stopped, then this whole thing is.
But that might
moot.
Brock with UFC is a different deal.
Yeah, it's a different. But it would be interesting if they retained that, where it's like, okay, Bobby Lashley, you want to go fight UFC, you want to go fight, or go fight for Bellator, you can. Yeah. Brock, you want to go fight for UFC, you can. Those guys would be exceptions because they're not that Bobby Lashley is the world's greatest MMA fighter. He's not. But if he wants to do it, and they think it'll help legitimize Bobby Lashley, more power to him, because I think if they brought in Dan Lambert, I think that would be a really interesting prospect here. Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley, but the promos are Paul Heyman against Dan Lambert. If anybody watched Dan Lambert's promos with Bobby Lashley and Impact, he's an MMA coach. He runs American Top Team, but he is one of the world's biggest wrestling fans. So he's always kind of wanted to do this. He cuts a hell of a promo, and it would be really interesting to see that fight being sold on Heyman's promos against Dan Lambert's promos. But who knows if we'll even see that. It would be interesting, but who knows if we'll see it. They're going to start selling those Bobby Lashley headbands, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's just going to be a thing.
Let's see if they already did.
Yeah, right? WWEshop.com, Bobby Lashley headbands. Probably. I mean, it's if they're not there, it's coming. He I guess he has some kind of vitamin deficiency, and he lost his eyebrows. And that's why he wears the sweatband, because the sweat is on his head. Yeah.
The first time he talked, I'm like, his voice doesn't really match his body.
No, it doesn't. It's like Mike Tyson. The voice doesn't match the body.
At least it's not Warlord voice.
I don't even remember what the Warlord sounded like.
Hold on.
Oh, boy.
I'll work on that.
But, yeah, Bobby Lashley's voice definitely doesn't match his body. But he kind of looks like a Ninja Turtle. Like, he looks like an action figure. He looks like
He does look like an action figure.
He looks like an action figure come to life. He's just got that the roundness to all of his muscles. Like, I can't describe. He looks not real. That's how good of a shape he's in. He looks not real.
I'd be so open for him versus Reigns or him versus Lesnar or something.
Yeah, something different. And with him in there, it mixes things up, man. So
Well, if Brock Lesnar is staying past this Saudi Arabia thing, and he is at SummerSlam, the rumor I heard was Brock versus Bobby Lashley.
and that's going to be a hell of a match. In the last, he hasn't wrestled in WWE for 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's probably
Almost
so. In that time, he's improved so much. And not that he was a bad wrestler, but he just had that one kind of big guy style that he worked. And now he's since he's done his MMA training, he's added a lot more of the grappling moves and the ground game. He's actually added a lot to his arsenal in the last few years. And his last TNA run, people were saying, for those, I know not everybody watches TNA and almost nobody watches TNA, but he was putting on really, really good matches, which were kind of not that he was overachieving, but they were better matches than people assumed that he could put on. So in the last couple of years, he's really, really turned it on.
July 30th, 2008. So 10 years.
Jeez, it has been 10. Oh, my God. That's really weird to think that it's been 10 years.
You got injured, and, well, he was injured, beat Mr. Kennedy, and he got released while on the shelf.
Yeah, that was always a nice thing that they did back in the day. Kind of bad press now, but
yeah,
I don't think they can get away with it nowadays. It's a different time. But yeah, I'm encouraged that Bobby Lashley's back. It mixes up the main event, especially with Joe being there. It just kind of mixes up the main event scene, and it gives more opportunities for different people. Because
I hope some cool shit happens on SmackDown tonight too.
Yeah, I think
I'm
so.
hoping.
Oh, I think it should. We got to further that AJ thing, the AJ and Nakamura thing, and we're talking about the Superstar Shakeup, which is what, next week?
Yeah, starts next week.
Both nights.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see who lands where. They're doing Sasha and Bailey next Monday in Hartford at Raw, and people are saying, well, maybe they're. I don't have tickets, but I could. I could try and get tickets. Or if you know anybody that's giving away tickets or get me free tickets, please let me know. I'm cheap. But
so they're gonna probably.
It seems like one or the other. Yeah, they're gonna split. Of course, that's their last. They're gonna have that big match on Monday Night Raw and then split for a while. Somebody's gonna go to SmackDown. Becky should come back to Raw because she's being wasted on SmackDown.
I think Bailey's gonna be the one that goes to SmackDown.
They could do a straight,
I like Bailey on SmackDown.
straight trade Bailey for Becky, and we're good. Because I think Becky needs to. I don't know. Becky needs to change the scenery. They aren't treating her right at all.
They could be doing a lot more.
Definitely. And I know there are other names now. Ronda's in the mix, and then Asuka and Charlotte are big deals. So she is one of the better workers and one of the more over women. And even there live in New Orleans, she got one of the biggest reactions out of all the women on the whole card. So she should really be more of a focus, but she seems to be in that Dean Ambrose role of like almost there, and then something bad happens and they lose,
there.
you know? Yeah.
Right below it.
Yeah,
And I don't think anybody expected Naomi to win that Battle Royal.
Not at all.
I don't like how they booked that.
I didn't like that.
When
I
we
didn't like
watched
that
it, we
at
had
all.
a couple of people saying, "How come so and so gets an entrance and so and so doesn't?" Like, I mean,
I think they were
Uh-oh.
supposed to cut to commercial earlier and didn't, because they gave Becky the entrance and then brought all the other girls and then had Bayley and Sasha.
and I think it was Ryan that brought this up. How come only one of the members of the Iconic Duo was in it and not both?
Because they didn't reinforce the ring for their inflatables.
Yeah.
They could only have one in there. I really don't know. That is a good question.
Yeah.
Why would you have one rather than the other?
But
And,
there was
and of course,
little
that was your pick.
NXT moment in there for a second.
What was that?
Who is this?
There was
pick?
that little NXT moment in there. I mean, we had like
The new Nexus.
Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai and people like that.
Yeah.
It was a cool moment. I'll give them that.
The Indian wrestler, I don't remember her name, but like my friend texted me, he's like, "Why is there an Indian mom in the Battle Royal?"
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
an Indian ma. You're going to be a doctor.
Oh god.
That's the name of her finisher. Is you're going to be a doctor.
The pirate gimmicked woman who
Sane.
won the
Kairi
women's
Sane.
tournament. I'm blanking on her name.
Yeah, Kairi Sane.
Thank you.
She hit that nice elbow.
That was cool.
I love
Seeing-
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. She's kind of she was one of the better
He's a
wrestlers.
yachting
Yeah,
enthusiast.
she's
apparently.
lost in the mix.
Thank you, Michael Cole.
Yeah, she likes yachting. We get it. She has a pirate hat on. We
Fucking pirate, damn it.
Yeah. Like, can we just address that? She's a pirate and Ember Moon is a werewolf.
Yep.
It's just it is what it is. She's a werewolf.
Deal with it.
Seriously,
it.
she's just a werewolf. She exists as a werewolf. Period.
Undertaker
I'm
was dead,
so
man.
happy for Nia Jax.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
not
happy
like
for
most
Nia.
girls.
That match
Yeah.
went way too long, but I'm happy for Nia.
That match went a lot longer than I thought it would.
It went a lot longer than it needed to, because the story should have been Nia just goes out there and Hulk smashes the fuck
Annihilation.
out of her.
And
Yeah.
you can't spell annihilation without Nia.
Hey, there you go. That would be a good t-shirt. Annihilation. That would be a good t-shirt.
Nia smash.
Yo, seriously, she could smash. I mean, that would be a good way to transition from this bullying victim kind of gimmick. Now she can just be like, if you make her angry, she fucking rages like the Hulk.
I'm not a big fan of the bullying angle.
No, it told a good story that, bullies come in all shapes and sizes and you should defend yourself against them and blah, blah, blah. But
What do you think
Yeah,
about
let's
her
move on.
ring attire? Do you think it was a step up?
it was better, but I
I
mean,
liked it way better.
I
yeah,
think she was great.
and that's the thing. I can't even say she's fat. You know what I mean? She's not fat. She's big. She's not fat. Like, how like the Gabriel Iglesias says there's different levels and Fluffy's the biggest. She's not quite there yet. She's not Fluffy. She's not damn. That's the biggest.
Oh hell no! That's the 6th level.
Right, yeah, that's the next one.
We have a couple questions.
Oh, excellent. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Oh shit.
Okay, so we have 2 questions from No Holds Barred podcast,
Oh, hey.
our favorite Canadian podcast.
Love those guys.
They're
So
the best. They're the best Canadian podcast. We're the best American podcast.
There we
there
go.
you go. Okay, so question 1 was, what was your favorite match from Takeover, and what was your favorite match from Mania?
Takeover was definitely the ladder match.
Definitely the ladder match.
It's either the ladder match or the last man standing match.
Yeah,
Because that last
That's
man
a-
standing match
it's a
was
toss-up.
excellent. Or the I Quit, whatever it was, I Quit match. That was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
And Ronda, for me, Ronda was the match.
Ronda Rousey.
And not
Yeah.
that Charlotte and Asuka wasn't a well wrestled match, but it's the spectacle and it's the shock. And
I
it's,
think all over.
Also, was the ending.
yeah.
Overall, I think the Ronda match was my favorite.
Yeah, and it was because Triple H and Stephanie played their roles well. Kurt did well. They kept Ronda out of the ring. You know what I mean? It was one of the things where it was like, oh, we're keeping her out, and she gets pulled off the thing. So when they finally got the tag, the place went absolutely bullshit.
Fantastic heel tactics, and I honestly, Triple H and Stephanie's entrance was awesome to me too.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Well, they even had you convinced at one point that they were going to win.
She even spit the water out just like him.
Yeah,
I like that too.
Like,
I was
how
kind
long
of
did you practice
disappointed
that?
with the whole motorcycle thing where they were going 2 miles an hour down the.
Oh, they must have had to practice that a lot. I think
the funeral procession.
Yeah, to not veer off the side of the ramp. Oh, like the Mardi Gras parade float that Braun Strowman tipped over.
And they all ran away like frightened villagers.
Yes, that was ridiculous in a good way. I liked that. I like that whole segment. Yeah, man, WrestleMania was an experience. The WrestleMania weekend, the whole weekend was full of great matches, whether it was indie shows or Impact or House of Hardcore, NXT, and then the big show on Sunday. And then we had another good show last night, and we got one coming up in just a couple minutes. So what's the next question?
Their second question was it me or did anyone else think Paul Heyman was going to come out when the Authors of Pain stopped Paul Ellering?
I didn't, but now that you said it, that would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you can save that for later. They don't. If they need, here's the deal. I've never heard them talk. I don't know if they can cut promos or not. If they can, let them do it. If they
we're
can't,
not Paul Ellering guys. We're Paul Heyman guys.
Yeah, could you imagine? That would be a hell of a way to
here's the thing, though. That's also if Heyman's staying after Lesnar leaves.
I heard he re-signed.
Yeah, but did he re-sign just like Lesnar did for
X? Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I
we just know the details of what he signed.
Yeah, I just saw that a report saying that he re-signed.
Yeah.
No deets.
Yeah. Nothing. No details yet. But
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So next question.
Or
if there was
somebody from Cat Facebook, Tara Baird.
Okay.
Any predictions for SmackDown?
Predictions. I can't say anything.
Premonitions.
I think it's so hard to say just because it's gonna be very much like Raw, where people are gonna get called up that you're not expecting.
Royce just tweeted SD Live after Mania. So.
Right.
Who did?
And then it could also be, obviously we're going to get more follow-up with Shinsuke's heel turn and AJ. And so, they'll continue that. But I don't know. It's going to be a night of surprises. It's going to be a lot of fun, this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, SmackDown will be good. And then, of course, afterward, tune into the Andre the Giant documentary on HBO. I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Carmella may even try to cash in.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That might be a thing. Unless she's going to save it for Money in the Bank and try and have a match at Money in the Bank. I don't know, because it expires at
do
that
her full year.
She could do it at Backlash.
Well, yeah, she could do it. I mean, she could do it any time in between. Now she is the longest briefcase holder in WWE history.
Watch them have her do it in Saudi Arabia. Oh wait, no, they can't because there's no Saudi Arabia.
I thought they announced a women's championship match for that. They didn't.
No,
oh, wow, they can't do it at all. I know they couldn't do it at all, but I thought during that commercial they showed there was a women's championship match. So, too bad. That'd be a hell of a thing if she just showed up with the briefcase. Was like, I need.
Control the crowd. They should do the Mania entrance for Balor. Get a full scale riot.
Oh yeah, that's what we need. Fucking God. That would be such a bad, and that's the thing. I appreciate that there was the LGBT whatever community. Too many letters now, but at the same time, it's like it's WrestleMania. Where's the demon? Where's the face paint and the tat? He could have still done the Finn Balor is for everyone entrance with those people as the demon. They would just have to.
Demons have feelings too,
right? He could be.
I would have even been okay with a fucking rainbow demon.
I was going to say they made him into a fucking pumpkin at one point. Why can't they make him a rainbow demon?
I would be against the rainbow demon. I'm gonna put
You'd
that
be
out.
against the rainbow demon.
That's where my cut my line.
Would he look a little too much like?
There's got to be a line somewhere.
Bailey would
Brian's
be the
line is
rainbow
the rainbow demon. Now we know.
Demons are not rainbow and happy.
I guess they're not, but he doesn't have to be happy. He can just be rainbow. Who says rainbows are always happy? You didn't ask him. You never asked a rainbow. You ever ask a rainbow if it's happy? Maybe it's pissed off. It always comes out after it's rained.
Everybody asks, "Where's the rainbow?" Not how's the rainbow.
All the time.
Yeah, they taste the rainbow. What if a rainbow doesn't like to be tasted anymore? It's like, stop licking me, dummies.
God, no one considers the rainbow at all.
Right? We don't consider the actual rainbow's feelings.
Rainbows matter.
What if it's a
Rainbow
double
lives
rainbow?
matter.
Do you think the double rainbows sit there and argue about, I'm bigger, I'm longer, I have more colors on the spectrum? No, I have more colors on the spectrum. Double rainbow.
Yep, it's a big.
I love that double rainbow guy. Double rainbow.
Love him.
Was that it for the questions?
And then we have a comment from our favorite Medulla.
Ah, yes.
Medulla.
Wouldn't be a show without it.
That's right.
He says, Undertaker outcome was good. Rousey stole the show. Angle looks slow and not sure of himself. AJ and Nakamura did not live up to the hype. The crowd had every right to boo the last match and walk out. Love Charlotte ending the streak. Overall, the show did not exceed expectations and was subpar. NXT and Rousey are the big winners.
I think that I need to go back and watch AJ against Nakamura because I don't know. I think after it was such a long night. People were burned out by
the time that happened.
And I'm sure it wasn't a bad match. And it wasn't a bad match from watching. It just felt like you were waiting for that second gear.
Yeah.
I was just, I was waiting for.
It was a good match, but it wasn't a great match.
Right. Like that last sequence with a bunch of finishers and really fast kind of whatever. It never got to that point, that rapid point.
So like to Eric's point, I mean, that's really what I think what the problem was. Eric said it was good, it wasn't great, and the expectation was that it was going to be great, that it was going to steal the show.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they hyped it.
Right, and it didn't.
Yeah, I think the issue is we created this match that would be the greatest thing ever, and it was all right.
And maybe they didn't give it enough time. I don't know, man.
There's going to be one of those situations where the match is better at Backlash than it was at Mania.
And that's very possible. They could tear it up.
They've done that before.
Yeah.
Certain matches.
Right. So lots of places we can go tonight. We'll see. I mean, obviously AJ and Nakamura is where they're going to continue with that. But then, what do you do with Charlotte? Do you have her have another challenger? Does Asuka continue on SmackDown? I don't know. There's a lot of open doors here. So we're into another year because now the build is to Money in the Bank and to SummerSlam. I mean Backlash too, but the big ones are Money in the Bank and SummerSlam coming up. And they're all they're dual branded now. So we'll see how they handle that. We'll see how many matches each brand gets, etc. Maybe they'll throw an NXT match on them now. That'd be nice. Give those guys
a nice
match. Have the cruiser. If the cruiserweights are on there, have NXT on there. I don't know. Have everybody represented. I think that's it. We can get out of here right at 8:00, and Steve's wife won't yell at him for being late. Wow, that's amazing. So for SmackDown is going to start in 2 minutes or so. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Of course, as usual, right here on YouTube, you go to youtube.com, type in Tag Me a Date on the search bar, Tag Me a Date, no spaces, squish it all together. It's one word, Tag Me a Date. You can subscribe, hit the bell so you get the alerts when we upload a new video or go live, or you just remember to tune in 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date. Use the hashtag AskTheWarReport to ask your questions, or send an email to askthewarreport@gmail.com. When you ask the War Report, you are entered into our monthly WrestleRumble.com pick'em. And there's no real rubric. It's just the question we probably enjoy the most. It could be the funniest question. It could be the best question. It could be the most pertinent question, the one that gets the most discussion. I don't know. It's just a question that we like. One of our people who submit a question will be entered into the WrestleRumble.com pick'em. And the next one coming up is Backlash. So you will get.
Actually, they're doing.
Oh,
they're doing a big one.
Oh, really? What's that?
The biggest pick'em ever for the biggest Royal Rumble ever.
Oh, for the greatest Royal Rumble. That's right. So that's coming up. I forgot that's coming up before Backlash. Is that coming up before Backlash?
April 27th.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I guess that's the next one. Greatest Royal Rumble. You'll be entered into the WrestleRumble.com pick'em for that. You get a free entry. And if not, still go to WrestleRumble.com and sign up, because for just a couple bucks, you can submit an entry, 1, 2, or 3 entries, right? Or is it 1, 3, and 5?
1, 3, 5.
1, 3, 5. I'd say pick 5. It's the best way to do it, because think about it this way: if you picked all the sure thing winners for WrestleMania, none of them fucking won.
Exactly.
Oh, Finn Balor's going to win. It's his first WrestleMania. Oh, sure. Asuka's going to win because she's got the streak. Nakamura won. He's the Royal Rumble winner. Blah, blah, blah. Roman Reigns was definitely going to win. Everybody in the world thought Roman Reigns was going to win. So think about it that way.
Yeah.
If you submitted one pick, you were sunk. If you submitted 3 or 5, you could have changed things around and switched it up. And one of those other backup emergency entries would have done very well. So you don't know.
I made it into the top 10 this time.
Wow. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, I came in 9th, but still.
Where did the clown place?
Oh, the clown. Did you beat the clown?
Think he was in top 10.
Good. Congratulations. You beat the clown. Not
Yes.
physically, but spiritually.
I owe you $10 for
There you
beating
go.
the clown.
That's right. You've beat the clown. That's the new the beat the clown challenge. If you can
Beat the clown.
Wow. And that Joey Janela punched him at Joey Janela's spring break. It was a working punch, but hey, he still got punched.
We could all dream.
Right, we can all dream. So once again, we encourage you to check out tagmeatdate.com. It is back up and running. We have so many people visiting and signing up that the site did crash for a little while, but it is back. It's been back up since before WrestleMania. It's ready for you to come and sign up because it's free to sign up, free to put your pictures up, free to message. Everything is free right now. So go and sign up and find your tag team partner, your tag team match. You can search by favorite wrestler, favorite event, favorite manager, search by zip code, try and find somebody in your area. Go see a wrestling show. That's the best way to do it. Sign up for free. Find somebody in your area. Just say, hey, you want to go to a wrestling show? Let's go to a wrestling show. No pressure. You both know you like wrestling because you're on Tag Me a Date. So it's an easy choice. You don't have to decide, oh, I don't want. Do you want to eat there? Oh, I don't know. I have to eat gluten free. I have to eat this. I have restrictions. Fuck the dinner. Just go see a wrestling show. That's my. There you go. It fuck mini golf and bowling and all that bullshit. Don't go see a movie. Go see a wrestling show because you know you're both wrestling fans. That's the beauty of going to tagmeadate.com. So again, follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date. Subscribe here on YouTube. You search for Tag Me a Date in the search bar. You'll find the Tag Me a Date YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe and the bell. And we'll be back again next Tuesday to recap all the goings on of the last week in wrestling right here, 7 p.m. on Eastern time for another edition of The War Report. Thank you guys for tuning in.